Okay, so hopefully some of you were able to join my colleague James's workshop, which was in Mandarin. If you weren't able to join it at 3 o'clock, it will be available online for you to review at your own time. So my name is Claire. I'm an accessibility and welfare officer with the Student Support and Wellbeing Services at UQ. And this afternoon, we'll be running through some disaster support and recovery information for you as we head into the very unusual cyclonic weather we're having in Brisbane at the moment. But of course, first, I would like to start with an acknowledgement of country. The University of Queensland acknowledges the traditional owners and their custodianship of the lands on which we meet. We pay our respects to their ancestors and their descendants who continue cultural and spiritual connection to country. We recognise their valuable contributions to Australian and global society. Some of the things I'm going to run through this afternoon with you is immediate safety and welfare, so including community connections, our mental health and wellbeing, accommodation support, financial support, replacing lost or damaged documents and personal items, getting back to study. After all, that's why we're here, and some other information you might find useful. So the very first thing we'd like to talk about is our immediate safety and welfare. So following a severe weather event, it's very important to remember that safety comes first. And here are some tips. If you need help after any severe weather event, the immediate priority is the safety of yourself and your loved ones. If you require urgent assistance, please contact the SES State Emergency Services on 132 500. Or if you see an electrical risk, such as a fallen power line or you've lost power to your home, please call Energex on 131962. If your situation is life-threatening, so you've harmed yourself or somebody in your home and they need urgent assistance, please call 000, which is 000, or it's commonly referred to as 000. Remember to stay indoors until we have clearance to leave our homes. Check all of your utilities to make sure that your gas supplies are turned off if the building has sustained damage. If you need assistance with that, please call the SES and they will be able to advise how you can safely do that. Water safely. You may need to boil or purify your drinking water until it's declared safe to consume. That's why you may have seen lots of information about keeping spare bottles of water around your home to ensure that you have safe drinking water. Again, stay home, avoid sightseeing, and remain home until it is safe to go out and about. Check in your neighbours if it's safe to do so. Please avoid flood water. You don't need to go into the water. It has lots of, it may have lots of awful things in there, including debris from further upstream. The Brisbane City Council has an emergency dashboard, which will show you where the flood predictions will occur or may occur. So stay away from power lines. I've already spoken about that. Please ring Energex if you come across a fallen power line. All your electrical appliances, or don't use any electrical appliances that have been wet until they have been checked by an electrician. Please contact your local council if you need help or if your home is uninhabitable due to cyclone damage. The Queensland State Government and local councils provide advice and support for people recovering from severe weather events. On this slide, you'll see examples of who you can go to for support. Again, if it's a life-threatening emergency, please call 000. The State Emergency Services number is there again. If you have a medical concern, you can call 13 Health, which is 13432584. If you need any housing assistance, you can call 137568. The Community Recovery Hotline, and there is the disaster recovery information in your first language. If you are experiencing emotional stress and need support, we have some numbers there for you to contact. Lifeline, Beyond Blue, Community Recovery Hotline, or if you are an Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander person, you could speak to 13 Yarn. Residents are encouraged to stay informed and get prepared by monitoring your local council disaster dashboard or social media. But please make sure it is an official government social media website, not people who may be saying things and making predictions that might not come true. There is a very good website that I've used personally called getready.qld.gov.au for guidance on preparing for the severe weather event. Again, please call the Community Recovery Hotline, which is available 24/7 hours a day, 7 days a week, and the dedicated Community Recovery Lifeline Hotline, which is 1-800-116-671. It's available 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Local community support services can also be found at this webpage. And also on the getready.qld.gov.au after disaster will be very, very helpful when the weather event has passed. You can download the State Emergency Services app via Apple or Google Play. The support that we can provide, or UQ can provide to you from our team, the Student Support and Wellbeing Services, are as follows. We have a 24-hour crisis line, which is to be used for urgent mental health support. Or you can Google UQ Crisis Support and it will come up with that number. Reach out to our teams in Student Support and Wellbeing if you need to speak to someone for support. The phone number there, the email, or you can just simply Google UQ Student Central. It's very important not to manage things on your own. Call 000 for a life-threatening emergency, campus security, if you are on the surrounds of the campus, if you're in the college. You can call the crisis line, as I said, and you can also text the crisis counsellors. So mental health and well-being. There's lots of support available in the community. The Community Recovery Hotline is available 24 hours a day. And then the Recovery Lifeline hotline available as well. If you're struggling with your own mental health, that's perfectly understandable, and there is support available. We have Medicare Mental Health is a good place to start. We also have 1300 MH Mental Health. Call. So 1300 642 255, which is a confidential mental health telephone triage service that provides the first point of contact to Queensland Health mental health services. You can, of course, call Lifeline Kids Helpline, which is for people aged up to 25, 13 Yarn, Beyond Blue, and again, if you or someone you know needs immediate help, whether it be police, fire, or ambulance, call 000 or go to your nearest emergency department in the hospitals. We can also have, again, we have the UQ counselling and crisis line numbers. And you can also book individual counselling appointments via UQ counsellors. Our UQ counsellors are running a special workshop on Monday called Compassionate Coping. It will be online, and you can register by Googling UQ Compassionate Coping. Again, if you Google UQ Student Central, it will come up with our health and wellbeing supports which are available. And there's also e-mental health. So there's Relax, using progressive muscle relaxation by UQ Life. There's mindfulness and other supports available which are online. Accommodation support. So as we don't know what's about to happen, it's been approximately 50 years since Brisbane had a cyclone. So here are some government and community supports that will be able to assist. So the Queensland Government have a page for phone numbers of community organisations who can provide accommodation support and advice. There's also the Queensland Government Housing Emergency Temporary Housing in case something was to happen to your home. There are other organisations that can help you with tenancy rights and provide advice outside emergency. It is called Q-Stars. It's quite a long name. Queensland Statewide Tenant Advice and Referral Services. Please do keep monitoring the council and government websites for information on evacuation or refuge centres in your area. And you can see the web page there, brisbane.qld.gov.au. Remember to be prepared and have a bag packed with some clothing, medication, and important documentation such as your passport or license. As of today, the Brisbane City Council has set up an emergency evacuation refuge centre at the RNA Showgrounds at Gregory Terrace in Bowen Hills. There's a web page there if you need to take a note of it. It's in Bowen Hills, as it said, right next to the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital. Other accommodation options might be an Airbnb, Booking.com, Trivago, Expedia, and there are many youth hostels in the Brisbane city itself. So you'll be able to find some accommodation if anything was to happen to your home. Again, the support provided by UQ is Although if you're in immediate danger, you'd please contact the Queensland Emergency Services on 000, the SES, and if you're in or around the campus at St. Lucia or Gatton, or any of our campuses, Dutton Park and Hurston, you'd call security and talk to them, and they will be able to assist you with the best option. Should you need advice about your accommodation, could you please complete the UQ request for disaster support form, which you'll be able to find on Google. You can call us on the crisis line, or you can email us at student.services. UQ will provide updates when it is safe to return to campus. And you can come down to Student Central, which is in the Prentice building, where our team will be able to provide support for your accommodation needs. Financial support. Again, we have the Community Recovery Hotline for immediate support, and they can provide information on financial assistance, housing, and emotional well-being. There are a few banks and insurance providers, including the Commonwealth Bank, the Australian National Bank, RACQ, have all activated hardship relief and financial support. There are free food hampers in Brisbane. There is a disaster recovery payment through Services Australia, which is a one-off, non-means tested payment of $1,000 per eligible adult and $400 per eligible child for those adversely affected by a declared disaster. Eligibility typically requires experiencing significant loss or damage. And of course, there are Queensland government supports, emergency hardship assistance, where support and assistance for financial help, including grants for food, clothing, and medical needs, and help if you've lost essential utilities such as electricity, gas, and water. We understand that this very serious, severe weather event can lead to financial challenges. This might be due to not being able to work through loss of belongings after damage has been caused by the event. Some financial support needs may be immediate and others may be long-term. Student support and wellbeing services can provide advice, immediate relief, if you are impacted financially following this weather event. If you require urgent financial support, please complete the UQ request for disaster support form. Phone our crisis line or email us at student.services. If your financial situation may require more support due to your situation or circumstances, you may need to apply for a financial hardship grant. Details are available on the UQ Financial Hardship Assistance website. Another support might be the UQ Union. They have emergency financial support payments, and you must be a current UQ student, be experiencing extenuating circumstances that will impact your ability to have financial stability during your studies. This may include, but not be limited to, reduced working hours, experiencing extenuating circumstances that are causing financial distress, or having dependents while living on a reduced income. You'll need to build a case to show that you will experience or are experiencing or have experienced financial hardship this semester. More information can be found at Student Advocacy and Support, University of Queensland Union. Unfortunately, at these times, it is very annoying that we get a lot of scams. So when in doubt, verify first. If someone is offering financial aid or services, check with the official government agency or community organizations before giving out any information or any money. During a time of high stress with many worries on your mind, you will be more vulnerable to being scammed. The most common scams are local government assistance and financial aid, and those pretending to be from overseas government agencies. Please only use official websites. Apply for disaster assistance online through servicesaustralia.gov.au or local government websites. Be very wary of unsolicited calls, emails, or text messages. Scammers may impersonate government agencies or other official institutions such as banks, telecommunication companies, and will ask you for personal details such as your banking information. One way to detect scammers, the English used often has spelling and grammar errors. A widespread scam involved scammers pretending to be the Chinese government and police representatives who were advising that students' ID had been stolen or used fraudulently. Please never share personal information via text, email, or WeChat or WhatsApp. Services Australia and banks will never ask for personal details, passwords, or financial information via text or email. How will you go about replacing your lost or damaged documents and personal items? They can get very damaged in these severe weather events, and the Queensland Government has some guidelines on how to replace the damaged items. You can search for replacing lost or destroyed documents via the Queensland Government web page. And by personal identification and legal documents should always be kept safe. Please always keep them on you or know where they are in the event that you lose power at night time. So things like your birth certificate, marriage certificates, your passports, driver's license or government issued photo ID, Medicare card, your private health insurance card, and that includes our international students. Make sure you have your overseas health cover details with you at all times. Citizenship or immigration documents such as your visa, your permanent residency, your tax file number details, and any Centrelink concession cards. Again, UQ Student Support and Wellbeing Services can provide advice and support with recovering of documents and belongings. If you are facing any financial barriers to getting replacement ID, please see the previous slides about financial assistance. If you misplace your student ID, please just apply for another one. UQU also offers advocacy and support, including legal advice, advice about welfare and wellbeing, and visas. And again, it can be found at Student Advocacy and Support, University of Queensland Union. Of course, you're all here to study. So just because Tropical Cyclone Alfred is getting in our way, we need to make sure that we get you back on track and ready for study. Our wonderful academic skills advisors are putting together resources right now to ensure that you can get back on track with your study. So they will have workshop recordings and slides, links for HDR students, ADHD coaching content, English language resources, and tips for using our semester planners. It's in very small writing, but here is a list of our upcoming academic skills workshops that you would be well to attend, even in place of Tropical Cyclone Alfred. These are a great resource, and our academic advisors do an amazing job. And our academic skills advisors are available online for appointments, and will resume face-to-face and drop-in support as soon as the campus reopens. We have express appointments at the moment, 30 minutes, available Monday to Friday, and you can check Student Hub as new appointments are becoming available daily. We also have some drop-in support, which is available on Thursday from 1 to 2 p.m. in the Central Library. Keep an eye out for our new daily peer writing sessions at St. Lucia, which is coming soon. You can also go on and watch a little video from one of our international students, his name was Austin, about how a learning advisor can help you. The Accessibility and Welfare team, which is what we're part of, supports students with diverse experiences to ensure that learning is accessible and inclusive, working closely with our academic staff, examinations, faculties, and the library. Some of the tools we use are a student access plan or exam adjustments. We also provide support to students who require assistance with accommodation, financial hardship, settling into UQ, and health and wellbeing. Please do contact us on the number that's shown on the screen now, or student.services@uq.edu.au, and also the crisis line. If you have your student ID with you, if you turn it over, you will see at the bottom of the ID is the crisis line number. So you'll be able to access it at all times. I have two colleagues on the line with me, Eva and Ben, and they will be able to answer any questions that you might have if you put them in the chat or in the Q&A.
Thanks, Claire. Gosh, there's my background. Whoops. I've been answering as we've been going through the webinar. Thank you so much. Ben's just stepped out. So if there's any other questions that students want answered that way, please jump on to our chats. And I've had some questions in regards to it being recorded and availability of the PowerPoint. So I think within the coming days that it'll be loaded on the recording, but I am able to also send on the PowerPoint if that would be helpful prior to that being loaded up. We're getting lots of really lovely feedback, actually.
Oh, good. I haven't been able to see it because I'm busy.
Yeah, I think also too what's been marked that there's been some students obviously who've got concerns, and also more broadly their friends as well. So I think what often happens is, yeah, we're all in a different forms of communities, and so obviously we have family, friends, neighbours that are in a level of distress, and we're all wanting to help, and it is a really difficult time for everybody to navigate, but obviously particularly for our students, and particularly those that are new to Brisbane.
Queensland. I spoke to somebody today and I said, welcome to Queensland. I'm sorry it's been such a challenging first couple of weeks. But as Eva said, I have, well, Eva's from out of town, but I've lived here for most of my life, and I have never experienced a cyclone in Brisbane. So it will be something new for all of us, unfortunately. This is wasn't exactly what we wanted.
Absolutely. I'm just going to jump back on the Q&A. So if there's anything that comes through in the next little bit.
Yeah, I just thought I'd put those support numbers up there for you, for the participants, in case you needed to take them down. I actually did download the SES app myself today. I've never done that before, but I was looking through these slides before my presentation and I found the app. So I have downloaded that myself. Let me see if there's some. Oh, thanks, Elizabeth. That's lovely. I'll answer the UQ library one live. So somebody's asked how you can contact the library. Is there an email address or a web link? So if you just Google, I love Google. If you use any of your search engines to search up UQ library, they have a library chat function. So you can contact them that way. Sure about this. I know the slides will be available on YouTube, or the recording will be available on YouTube.
Yeah, and I think that's also what's come up in the webinar today is the desire to share obviously the PowerPoints as well, so that'll be made available for particular groups and cohorts of students.
Great.
Alrighty.
Well, I think if that's it, we could probably wrap it up there so everyone can get on with their afternoon and preparations. Please do keep an eye on the Bureau of Meteorology website, which is often referred to as BOM here in Australia. That's another good resource. And please absolutely stay safe.
I'm just going to ask a question, or actually going to read out a question, because this might actually, I think it's something
Yeah,
we've
good.
covered, but I'm sure it's going to keep on coming up, because even for me, I'm like, hang on. So question is, how do we check on the flood map?
I know. I'm looking for that particular slide. So if you go to the webpage www.brisbane.qld.gov.au, yeah, that's the Brisbane City Council webpage, and it's called the Emergency Dashboard. Type in your address, and then you can check to see if they're predicting flooding. The tricky thing about Sir Fred Chanel Drive and the areas close to the St. Lucia campus are that it did flood in 2022, and a lot of our landlords are very scared that it's going to happen again. So just have a look at that Brisbane City Council webpage, and you can see if they're predicting that it will flood. Hopefully it won't. Hopefully it will just remain nice and clear.
And I think that's been, isn't it? A lot of the feedback is this is actually quite a different weather experience. So obviously what's occurred previous is not going to be, I guess, repeated. And obviously to the other, I think, critical part of what's occurring is obviously when we land, or what time does Alfred actually land, and whether it's going to be a high tide or not. So there's lots of competing elements. And obviously the information I've got today is it's slowed down and likely to be category 1. It's actually likely to hit further south harder. But it is, a very tricky to navigate, things that are changing so
Fortunately,
quickly.
we just don't know. That's the hardest thing. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what the winds are going to be like, whether or not the amount of rain they've predicted will actually come as well. So we all just have to wait and see. And stay as calm and prepared as possible. And that's where the information from the counsellors really comes to in to help. So they have lots of lovely resources on their webpage that you can access right now.
And I guess what's one of the things I did also too today, you were mentioning about SES and
Oh, yeah.
downloading the app. That was the first time I did it today as well. And then I also changed my alerts. So the Brisbane City Council have alerts, and I've had mine stuck on emails for years and years and years. And I've changed mine to text message. So I actually feel a lot more comfortable, I have to say, knowing that I'm getting that information a lot quicker. So
As it happens.
I think there's some very key things that can be done to ensure that you're getting the information, I guess, as quickly as possible.
That's really good. I didn't know you could do that. I might go and have a look at that as well.
There we go.
So thank you. All right. Well, I think there's nothing more in the chat that I can see. I think we might leave it there. As I said, get prepared, stay safe, try and stay as calm as possible. Get all your documents together and make sure you know where they are. All right. Thanks very much, everyone. Bye.